How you doing? Thank you for popping in there, Straight Biz. This is Emily with Straight Talk with Sissy, and I'm on here. We're gonna be talking about some things today. Here, let me get my moderator up here, baby, cause she helped me keep things organized. Cause I don't like to play games and stuff. So hang on. Cuz send me an invite. Hey, Deshaun. Hey, Kathleen. Hey, y'all. We're going to talk about some things today. I have been chomping at the bit to get on here because I realized that, I kind of started teaching in the middle of this thing. And so I just want to take us back a little bit so we can be well versed in what we're talking about. I want to give you all the tools that you need to help me fight this damn stigma, baby, because I'm over it. Okay? I was experienced talking to somebody on YouTube that made me realize these folks out here, what I look like? I guess I know. I know I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's my favorite part. That's my favorite part. Listen, I want y'all to tap the screen. My cousin was like, y'all need to remember to tell me to tap the screen. Okay, let's see. Aha. Cousin, you in here?
Yes.
All right. I'm so sorry. Of course, Theodore starts talking as soon as I get on the live. Theodore! All right, so, you know, the Lord done put it on my heart that I need to do this. I need to educate about STIs, not just STIs, specifically herpes, because I feel like there are a lot of people that are trapped in relationships because they've been blamed and really, nobody was tested, to uh, to even know who had it in the first place. And, how can someone still be trapped in a relationship and be blamed for herpes when herpes is one of the most common things that you'll get out there? And I just feel like it's time for us to stop that stigma. Javon, can you go ahead and mute for me until you need to get live? So, what I want to do is I want to start from the beginning. I want to start and just talk to you about, where STIs kind of started at, where the stigma kind of came from, because I think that it's important to know, okay? Because when you go to explain it to somebody else, and if they ask you a few more complicated questions, you're going to be able to answer them. Okay? So let's start with, have y'all seen my stuff? Have y'all been watching my stuff previously? Because I do realize that I've been giving out little bits and pieces. Sometimes I don't never want to give out a whole bunch of information at a time because you're gonna stop listening in the first 2 minutes anyway. So I need to get it to you quick. But I know that what I'm giving you can be life changing. So I want to make sure that I explain slowly so that you stick with me. Okay. So if you have never seen any of my stuff, then I really want you to take a look at it. Hop on over to YouTube. Of course, that's Straight Talk with Sissy, and watch some of the videos. I know I ain't right. I know that's fun. I love that. And I'm gonna be me no matter what, where I go and what I do. If we have visits, this is the individual that you're gonna get. So be prepared. Be prepared. All right. Go on, tap the screen. I want your fingers cramped up and tired. Okay. From what I understand, that unless I remind y'all to tap the screen, y'all be forgetting to tap the screen. But I do want you to have a pen and paper as well. All right, so now that we got the people out of there that really don't care about what I'm talking about, we're going to head and get started. So, did y'all know that I'm gonna start with the initial word they use. The initial word that they use for what we now know as sexually transmitted infections were venereal disease. Y'all remember back in the day when people like, oh, you got VD, you got the VD, you got the clap, you got the drip. You know, they had 172 names for, everything STI related. But what the initial name of it was called venereal disease. Okay. And it was really first connected, and what they did was what they now know as syphilis. It occurred in 1495. I'm gonna let the marinate just a little bit. 1495. We in 2023. Syphilis was around killing folk in 1495. Now, initially, because syphilis didn't have a treatment or anything, it was vicious. They would get a syphilis infection, and the syphilis would cause their skin to fall off. It would cause pustules, and the skin would fall off. I said, oh, Lord, ooh, we done came a long way. We done came a long way, because now you get a shot and you good to go. But back then, they didn't have that. So, what they ended up doing, because they weren't sure about what was going on. So in the medieval times, syphilis and gonorrhea were two of the most prevalent STDs in Europe. In Europe, that's syphilis and gonorrhea. Syphilis and gonorrhea still here, still on the rise. What? That was from the medieval times. Why we ain't doing better? Why we ain't doing better than that? How medieval times gonna have a rise and we 2023 and got a rise and we got a cure? Yeah, okay. Y'all gonna help me make it make sense. So I'm just gonna keep talking. Okay. So for those of you that are new to me, um, I don't read the comments. That's why I have Javon here, so that if there is a question that I can answer, she will answer that question. But she monitors and evaluates them comments, okay? Because I don't do ignorant and it makes me upset. So I just have her manage that part, okay? But anytime y'all want to ask a question or anything like that, please feel free to talk to me. So again, let's reiterate. STD's been around forever. In 1495, syphilis was killing folk. Killing folk. Their skin and stuff was falling off. If you got any questions, look it up. Okay, this is a history lesson. In medieval times, syphilis and gonorrhea were two of the most prevalent STDs in Europe. It is said that Christopher Columbus, you know how they took them little voyages from over there in Europe and came over to the U.S. to America, and then they got all that stuff and everything, and the people got off the boat and they got the boink and everything over here. And then when they sailed on back, hmm they took it to Europe. They said that the voyages, okay, were actually responsible for spreading gonorrhea from Tahiti to New Zealand. That's ain't that spreading? That's a lot of spreading. How many women do you think was on those boats? How many sailors? How many sailors were women? So who was spreading it? All right, I just wanted to put that question in the comments. If y'all got an answer, I want you to go ahead and give it here. I like to interact. So go ahead and put that there. So during this area, that was 1866. Still, STIs are from a long time ago, y'all, and we still dealing with it. But 1866. Now, in 1866, the second half of what they call was the Contagious Disease Act. Once they seen that syphilis was infecting everybody and it was causing all these things, they was like, oh, I think we getting it from the prostitutes. We're getting it from the prostitutes. So this is the bill. I want to get the Contagious Disease Act. And what that tells me is that I can go pick up a prostitute if I think she might have the condition lock her up in a place that she can't get out of, and treat her with medications and things for up to a year. What? Because they thought you had an STI. They thought you had an STI. So they picked you up because they felt like it. Can we go ahead and acknowledge that only not a nan man responsible? If you just walking around picking up prostitutes, I ain't gonna go into it, okay? Because after he done went over there to see Lola, okay, uh, she done got it from James, John, and Alan, and James, John, and Alan done took it home to Helen, Barbara, and Nancy, and then Nancy and Barbara done had a baby, David and John, and now they got syphilis too. That's how it was spreading. And they was like, wow, they are affecting way too many families. They are doing like too much. So we got to do something about that. So in 2000 back in the 60s, do you have the image when they first started advertising for sailors to get checked, and they're still blaming it on the prostitutes? I mean, they're literally Javon, do you see the image? I sent that to you.
No, you didn't say.
I didn't send that one. Are
No.
you sure? I could have sworn I sent. I'm positive I sent it. I didn't send that one. Now, okay. So on my post, what you'll see is a female on a billboard, and it's telling all the sailors to go get tested because she may look clean. The gall, the gall, the gall. She may look clean, but she might not be. So y'all better go get tested. Why don't you just take her off the plate? Because she wouldn't have it if y'all wasn't in there driving the bus in there dropping everything off. But anyway, okay, that would get so I get just upset. So anyway, so of course they blamed it on us. And to the U.S. Public Health Service. Oops, wrong one. That's we talking about Tuskegee, because I'm gonna be talking about Tuskegee experiment. Do y'all know about that? Have you ever heard about that? Can somebody tell me? That's right, baby. Javon said no, ma'am. Yes, I thought I said that. Guess I didn't send it. But anyway, so let me get back on topic because I'll be all off the topic. Um, so when we're talking about STIs, I just wanted to begin with that because I want to tell you and show you how long that this awful stigma, like where it started. It started from them blaming prostitutes for spreading the disease because, of course, they were not holding any man accountable. So of course it had to be the prostitutes, although it was all the men that was running up in there that was actually taking it home. So we've been labeled with this stigma since the beginning of time. And we are still today in 2023 dealing with this stigma, this ignorance that has been put on us. Okay. But we can listen, I realize that the Lord has set me on top of this hill, and this must be the one that I'm going to die on. I didn't know. I didn't know until I turned 52 3 days ago that, not that I turned 52, but 3 days ago, the Lord was like, yeah, this what you going to do. Who would have thunk it? I wouldn't have thunk it. So anyway, so it was just stigma. Then they changed it from venereal disease to sexually transmitted disease. Okay, because at that point, it was still about making being more scientific versus with the venereal disease. And actually, when we talk about stigma and what a stigma is, stigma by definition is a mark of disgrace associated with a particular, excuse me, excuse me, sir. A stigma by definition is a mark of disgrace. Oh, think it over. Sit. Ooh, Lord. Ooh, okay. So I'm going to try this one more again, y'all. Stick with me. Stick with me. A stigma, by definition, is a mark of disgrace associated with particular circumstance, quality, or person. That stigma has been associated to women being nasty since the beginning of time. So what we can definitely say is that it is not founded in anything valid. Okay? So when I say we need to stop the stigma, we first need to understand that there shouldn't be a stigma in the first place. What I'm trying to tell you is that however you feel when you hear the word herpes, syphilis, uh, there should be none that is worse than the other. And this is real particular when I start talking about herpes, because the stigma around herpes, when I say herpes, what do you immediately feel? Can you tell me? What do you immediately feel? Stop barking at them people at the pool. What do you immediately feel? Most people go, you know what I'm saying? They be like, they think of like nasty sores and all of that, right? Because that come from all the way a long time ago. That is not necessarily the case today. And we have to change that, because don't nobody feel like that when you start talking about chickenpox, which is a strain of herpes. Don't nobody have that cringe when we start talking about mono. They just be like, oh, you got the kissing disease. Booby, you have a strain of mono, of herpes. So what I'm trying to do is educate. The first thing I want to tell you is that, again, we've been blamed for STIs for, you know what I'm saying, centuries. And we don't have to hold that responsibility anymore. We don't have to carry the weight of that anymore. What we can do is be like, you're not talking to me. You might, if you still think that, if you still feel that way, you can go on here, because I already know your mindset is closed. Like, there's nothing we can talk about. And at the end of the day, I am who I am. Hold on. Theodore, I'm not getting the ball. To see you to start stuff. You lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Rest yourself. Rest yourself. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know. He gets excited, and then he see the people at the pool. Then he wants to get loud. He been sleeping all morning. But now he want to get loud because I'm up and I ain't cuddling with him. That's what it is. Okay, so anyway, when we start talking about, like I said, breaking the stigma, I'm going to give you a few things that we can do, right? To break the stigma is first to know the facts. Know the facts. That's what I'm trying to give you. I'm trying to give you the facts, because then what you do is I want you to become self-aware. Sit down, Theodore. I want you to become self-aware. I want you to recognize what your own attitudes and behaviors are. Well, looky there. She found it. She found it for me. Where you find that at? You go to my page? You go to my page and find that? Google?
Google.
Oh, you looked it up? Oh, look
Yeah.
at that. Look at that. See? Because everybody can look it up. Everybody can look it up. Everybody can Google what I'm talking about. You don't have to take my word for it. I'm giving you information that you ain't never heard of because you never had a need to look it up. I'm here to educate you about stuff that ain't nobody told you in health history class. You ain't get this in health class. You ain't get this. I'm talking about the real. This is straight talk right here. So I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. All right, so first we got to know the facts. All right, we got to be self-aware, know your own attitudes, know your own behaviors. Like I said, how do you feel when I say herpes? What is the immediate reaction in your chest? Because that's really the stigma. That's really what we're dealing with, because it's not the actual virus, right? Theodore? I just want you to know that it ain't normally this bad. Right here. You see all the men in the picture. We got to save them. We got to save the men. So therefore, you the nasty one. Don't fall for that BS. Don't fall for that no more. We not falling for that no more. Theodore, listen. Listen to me. Y'all, I wish I could turn this. I don't even know how to turn around because y'all need to see his face. Listen, okay, so we not gonna stick with that. We not gonna do that. The next thing that we can do is educate others. The things that I tell you about, everything you hear coming from me, I want you to tell somebody else. Be like, you know what? I was watching this chick on TikTok and she was talking about STIs. Have you ever really like looked into that? Did you know that that started in medieval times and their skin was falling out? Baby, that's a conversation topic for me. But it could because I'm a nurse, right? And that stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's, I'm drawn to that. But at the end of the day, isn't that something to know? To know that they've been shaming you. I can't see because of the shoulder. What does it say? False shame and fear may destroy your future. Look at that. Look at that. False fear and shame. It is still that way. It is still that way today. So once we educate, you know what I'm saying, we got to educate others. Focus on the positive, that really they don't change your life. Not the ones I'm speaking of. Of course, HIV can change your life. If it goes untreated, it can turn into AIDS. Because y'all do know that HIV and AIDS is not the same thing. Do y'all know that? Can I see some something in the comments? Tell me, do y'all know what that HIV and AIDS is not the same thing? I was having a conversation the other day, and they was like, "Yeah, HIV is like, well, that's the disease," and I'm like, "No, but we know that ain't how that works. That's not what that is." HIV is the human immunodeficiency virus, right? It goes in, it attacks your T cells, it attacks your immune system, makes it real low. When it gets real low, what tends to happen are you tend to get these certain type of infections, especially the one that's in the lungs that affects mostly HIV positive patients because their T cells, their immune system is shot. So once they get a certain set of these conditions, that's when they have developed the acquired immunodeficiency disease syndrome. Shame on me. Shame on me. I just looked that up too. But it's not the same thing. It is the development of those conditions is what makes it AIDS. So again, these days, STIs are not killing anybody. Syphilis is not killing anybody. Herpes is not killing anybody. If your immune system is affected, if there is something in you that is causing your immune system to be off, then yes, it could be harmful, right? But these days, it can be managed. Everybody see you acting ugly in the live. Everybody see it. Yeah, you should be ashamed. You should be no. You should be ashamed. Sit down. That's what I deal with. Y'all know he is a human. He's human. He just looked like a dog. Okay. So anyway, it doesn't have to change your life. Once you get diagnosed, there are so many medications. There are medications now for HIV patients that makes the virus so low in your body that is considered non-transmittable. Non-transmittable. So if you are not told or aware, these people are not sick. If you don't get tested and you don't have folk that you allow to enter you to test you, you will not know that these people have anything. So that is part of my push. That's part. What I say? What I say? Okay. So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This heat ain't normally this terrible. This he terrible tonight because all the kids at the pool because you know it's hot. So he just see them over here in these blinds, just all in the blinds, worrying about their business instead of worried about his. Anyway, I want us to be confident and to love our bodies enough to be like, I'm not letting you roll up inside of me without knowing what's going on with your body, period. That is really the bottom line discussion. My body is healthy. I can prove that my body is healthy. And I'm not letting nothing come in or over or near or none of it until I understand what I'm dealing with your body. And this is not a conversation that you're going to meet at the park and have. This is a conversation that comes after you've gotten to know this person. So that means, meeting Fred at the club and sleeping with him the same night. We might need to reconsider that. We might need to reconsider that because there are a lot of sexually transmitted infections that people have zero symptoms. None at all. That's why it's still out here running rampant. Sexually transmitted diseases, the name sexually transmitted diseases was changed from disease to infection because of two things. First, they wanted to decrease the stigma. Okay, they did want to address that. They wanted to try to remove disease because they felt that infection was more accurate for what they were dealing with. And they felt that because you can have a series of symptoms that cause the disease. And so since they weren't having those symptoms, they changed it from disease to infection. From disease to infections. So there has been a little bit of things changing with terminology to try to remove the stigma. But at the end of the day, the ignorance is still there. And that's really what you're fighting. I mean, racism is a root that is embedded in the fiber of our country. This negative view of women that's associated with a sexually transmitted disease is just as rooted. So I understand that it's going to be a challenge for me to try to dig up that root and plant this new seed that I'm giving you today. But I need you to help me. I need you to help me tell folk, you ain't going to get died. It's okay to talk about it. We grown now. If you old enough to be out there, then you old enough to get tested. You old enough to be responsible. So at the end of the day, it is our responsibility to make sure that we are healthy. We need to hold ourselves accountable for maintaining the health of our lives. We cannot expect anybody else to do that because folk don't. So you have to take the initiative. You have to take that power and use it. Tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen, Theodore. Tap the screen. You know how long ago gonorrhea was recorded? Gonorrhea was recorded 700 years ago. 700. Oh, hey, can you take him? Because he is just wearing me and my live out. 700 years ago is when gonorrhea was found in Paris. 700 years ago, we still feel the negative influence that having that conversation is. And it's interesting because as free spirited everybody is this day, you would think that to have that type of conversation would be easy, but it's not. People out here struggling to say, let me see your papers before they open their legs because they want to be embarrassed or they want to embarrass. But you better embarrass somebody. Because if you ask them, hey, you know what, boo, listen, how I do things is I make sure my body is healthy. And I make sure that I keep it that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to have date night on Friday. We're going to go earlier. We're going to get our labs together. We're going to go see the movie. We're going to do good. After we get our results, we're going to make sure that we are healthy. We'll exchange those results and we can decide together on how to move forward. It is a simple conversation. There is nothing else that needs to be said, because if no is said, then you be like, oh, okay. Well, and what conversation do you need to have after that? You don't have to. There's no conversation to be had. If somebody tell you, oh, I don't want to get tested. Oh, okay. No problem. I respect that. But you ain't going up and in and around and near here, though. Baby, we are coffee buddies at that point, and that's fine. Well, I don't want no friends. Okay, well, move along. Move along. That's what I need for y'all to do. Because we are the majority of the cases. Because women contract sexually transmitted disease easier because of our open mucosal way. We absorb everything. Where men have the coating of skin on the outside of their penises, unless they have lesions. And then they mess around and have a lot of hair in their growing. And so then you see, if you remove half that hair, probably half the folk you done boinked and hunched on could have had something. We don't know. We would love to be like, no, they ain't never. We don't know. Do you know? Unless you done shaved it down and looked and tested somebody, you don't know. That's why risk it when you can most definitely find out. Why risk it when you can absolutely know whether somebody is carrying something extra? It's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to find out before you let somebody insert themselves into your body. Right? Ain't that common sense? It's like, no, I need to take care of me. So again, gonorrhea was around 700 years ago. Okay. After Christopher Columbus and went over there and they then infected everybody on their little voyages, then they gonna lock up all the prostitutes because they like, it's y'all, but ain't nobody doing nothing to the men. The men still just hot and running around, boinking everything, just passing it around. Okay, passing it around. And then, when you start talking about, even society and in the culture, you changed it from venereal disease to sexually transmitted disease to sexually transmitted infection, just to try to change the perception of the disease. At this point, I'm starting to feel some kind of way about our medical providers. Because why didn't they tell you that chickenpox was a herpes virus? See, what they've done is out of 8 viruses, they've taken one that targets the tissues of the genitals, right? Because each virus targets different tissues in the body. The cold sore targets the lip. That's HSV1. HSV2 targets the genitals. Roseola, the cheeks for the babies, in their cheeks. And half of that is because they all kissing on the baby's cheeks, and now they got herpes on their cheek. You know what I'm saying? Shingles is a version of herpes, but they don't tell you that. They happen to name. I thought you went in there with your sister. What happened? So here we go. This is different types. All of these are herpes. So why didn't they have that conversation? Instead of leading you to believe that there's only one herpes. And the stigma is so tough. I want us to walk through this screenshot of a conversation that was had on YouTube. Okay? Because I want you to see how it contradicts. Oh, why didn't y'all tell me my glasses was on my head? So Javon gonna pull that up, right? That ain't it. Here we go. About 1 out of every 3 people in the United States will develop shingles. Okay. Also known as herpes zoster. I want you to hang on to that in their lifetime. Shingles is not caused by the same virus that causes genital herpes. That is correct because they consider that a sexually transmitted disease. So she ain't talked about no other version of the virus at all. Just the one that's specifically called herpes, that is the genital herpes. Okay. Just like the genital herpes, HSV, and the shingles, if you have open pustules and you rub up against that and it infiltrates the skin, you can contract it. So, however, the virus that causes shingles, the varicella zoster virus, notice that, the herpes is no longer included in that, and that's fine. But it can be spread from person with active shingles to another person who has never had chickenpox. So if I didn't educate you about what was going on with herpes and shingles, that could be very confusing to someone. So that's why I don't get into all those details at once. Because at the end of the day, what I'm teaching you is that herpes is herpes is herpes. And you should not make one version, one strain of the herpes because the target area is the genital area. You should no longer let that affect your life. Because don't it sound dumb to you? I need for it to. If it don't, it should. And everybody that still is hanging on to we're gonna say that they're either they don't know or they're being willfully ignorant. And either one of those, we can deal with those. But what I'm telling you is don't let that affect you like that no more. We not doing that no more. We coming out, we living life. There was it just hurt my heart so much. Do you have the post about Miss Lady that was in the house for 13 years? So I received a post because I interact with the people that interact with me, right? Unless you're talking about what you're doing, hey there, beautiful, those get you blocked faster than anything. That is not the one. So it's actually white. But she was stating that she's really been isolating herself for like 13 years because she doesn't know how to socialize with the Z. Girl, what? What you say? Listen, we can manage that. We can manage that. We can manage the symptoms of this condition. There is no reason why you need to be isolated in the house, baby, because ain't nobody else isolated. You can trust and believe everybody else is out here living their best life. All you got to do is don't be touching uh, uh, um, each other's forks and things. So you didn't find it? Did you find the one that's red and white? I believe it tells how not to spread it.
You need me to go to your page because you ain't sending me those.
I didn't send that one. Oh, okay. Anyway, it's around there on my page somewhere. But it broke my heart. It broke my heart. Because why? I had another client call me that was distressed and she was diagnosed with HSV1. She was distraught. She had been in the house a month. Baby. They got these little hydrogel little patches. Y'all go get one of the patches and put that on there. I think you keep it on there for like 3 days and they help it heal. It ain't even exposed. Put a little foundation on that and you keep living your life and keep doing what you do. There's a gang of treatments now. You can manage this. There is zero reason for you to be affected by the ridiculousness that was started back in, what was the year? 1800s. Hell no. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that no more. Let me get these glasses on. Okay. Again, I keep switching glasses. Right? Look at your nephew. Look at your nephew. Okay. I just had to let you know that I'm wrestling. I'm wrestling over here with this guy. Okay. But the other thing, I told y'all that, I want you to educate folk about what's going on. But in addition to that, I would support others, by doing exactly what I'm doing, educating and loving on people. Support people that may confide that in you. Don't make them feel like the pariah that society is. We don't have to live like that no more. Somebody call the people and tell them come get him. We don't have to live like that, and we're not going to. We're not going to. We're not going to. So we need to stand up. I know. I know. I know. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Are you done? Hmm? Hmm? Okay.
He's telling everybody, tap that screen, tap that screen.
Tap the
Let's show
screen.
some love. Tap that screen, y'all. Share this information. We got to stop judging, start healing. Stop the stigma, guys. Let's start healing. Let's start healing. We need to share this information with everyone. Tap that screen, y'all. Tap that screen. Show that love. Show that love. Let me see them hearts. Let me see them hearts.
So anyway, we don't have to do that no more. We don't have to do that more. We don't have to live our lives like that more. We don't let our friends live their lives like that anymore. We can, when you even hear somebody try to say something negative, you need to check them. You have the tools. I'm giving you the tools. You can tell them to Google it because Google is free. You can send them to my page and be like, why don't you listen to our stuff? But you can't. Oh, look, did it again. Oh my God, what was that? This look like some hearts. Oh God, I ain't never had one of those before. Thank you. Thank you. Whoever said that, thank you, Donnie Ritter. I was on your live one night, wasn't I? She was like, oh, cheeks. Thank you so much. That was so cute. But we have to do better. We have to educate each other. We have to support each other. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. Talk to him.
All right, y'all. Let's tap that screen. Tap that screen. Thank you for those badges and those gifts. We appreciate it. Come on, share this info. Get your friends in there. You know we need this education. We got to educate each other. If we don't, we're not going to be smart about it. We're going to be ignorant. Come on, y'all. Tap that screen. Share this info. Tell somebody to come watch it. She got a YouTube channel. We need this info. Tap that screen. Come on, y'all. Let's make it to over 2,000 likes. Come on. Tap till your finger get hurt. Tap till your finger get hurt. Let's get it. Straight talk with Sissy is in the building. Come
In the
on.
building. In the
Come
building.
on. spitting facts, nothing but facts, and you can look it up on Google. You can look it up on Google like it's free. Come on, tap
Cause
that
it's
screen.
free. Cause it's free. But I
We need to
appreciate y'all.
educate
I
ourselves,
appreciate y'all
guys.
so much. Yes,
We have to
yes,
be educated.
yes.
We have to be educated. They don't want us to be educated in these schools, so we have to educate ourselves so we can pass
Right,
it down to our children, and our
right,
children's friends can pass it down. You feel me?
right,
Educate yourself. Share the live. Get on
right.
YouTube. Follow
Come
her.
on.
She got an Instagram page. Come on.
Come
Get this
on.
information. It's for free. We're not
It's
charging
free.
you for it.
It's
We're
free.
just trying to educate you.
That's it.
Come on back. You back, educator. You put the second co-host up because he was trying to take over the live, it
He
seems.
was trying to take it over, honey. He was loud about it. I mean, just fussy. He wasn't getting enough attention. He wanted me to hold him and I wasn't gonna do it. Okay. He wanted to go outside and I'm not gonna do it. I'm busy. He had to sit down somewhere. He had to go sit down and calm himself. Okay, I got him a little thunder vest. Have y'all ever heard of thunder vest? I got him a thunder vest. So he over there sitting down. He ain't pleased about it, but he over there sitting down. But I believe that we can change this. I believe that we can teach our children that no matter what they hear on the outside of this house, we understand and we won't participate in just letting everybody, and I'm talking about males and females. I'm specifically talking to females because that is who I'm here to support and train. And everything that comes to me is based around a female. So I know that is who my target audience is. Apparently, men have enough support because the Lord said you don't need to talk to them. So I'm talking to my queens out here that we don't have to do this. We can teach our children, listen, before you become intimate with somebody, just take the time. Y'all go get tested. Take the time. That's all I need you to do is take the time and y'all go get tested together. Go get tested together. Make it a group thing. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you and three of your homegirls, well, y'all go get tested? Because at the end of the day, what is it going to hurt? Nothing. There are women that are walking around with STI, and I'm gonna tell you what's hot in the streets is chlamydia. Chlamydia is hot in these streets, and sometimes you have zero symptoms, just passing it around, ain't paying no attention. People say, oh, well, we got to use condoms. Yes, you can use condoms, but clearly the message may need to be altered a little bit because to say use condoms has not been beneficial considering that Houston and North Carolina is a hot spot. They over there with a rise of 128% in syphilis. So condom use alone, that's not going to keep you from getting a herpes lesion that is on that man's groin when you ride. You know, when you be up there like, when you want to ride and all of that, and you're rubbing all on, right over that lesion. That's to the left of the penis. Now you got it. Now you got it. And it ain't, he got a condom on, bless his heart. And it didn't cover nothing. Now you got it. And people confused. They're like, I don't understand how you use the condom because condoms don't protect against anything that is on the other side of that condom. So if it's in the groin, if it's in the thigh, if it's around the mouth, a condom ain't gonna do nothing. People use dental dams. You know what a dental dam is? Have you ever heard of that? It's it's almost like a plastic sheath that you put over the vagina for oral sex. Have anybody ever heard of that? That can protect you from HSV-1. The studies show that HSV-1 and HSV-2 are actually being found between the mouth and the genitals because so much all of that's going on. All of that's going on. So it's going everywhere. It's going everywhere. Have y'all ever heard of the Tuskegee experiment? That's gonna be coming up in my next live. That's what I'm gonna be teaching because as much as I'm trying to move off of herpes, but the Lord just keep downloading herpes information. So I gotta keep giving it to you the way I'm getting it. You know what I'm saying? I got to give it to you the way I'm getting it, and I'm trying to get to herpes. Okay, I've been ready. I've been ready for my herpes pill, but there's still somebody that needs to hear this message. Herpes is not the end of life, baby. And you don't let nobody make you feel that way. Don't let nobody confuse you or trick you into thinking it's about you and your character and who you are. That's the stigma. That's the lie that's been told. Is that if you have herpes, then you dirty, that you ain't nothing, that you've been practicing hoish behavior. It's a lie. You could have herpes from the vaccination you received as an infant to keep you from getting chickenpox. You have the herpes virus in you if you had chickenpox. The chickenpox, the vaccine, when they inject you with that, the vaccine is live attenuated virus. It will go from the injection site. It will go to that nerve. It will get to the sensory nerve that's behind the ear, and that's where it's dormant. That's herpes. That's a version of herpes. That's chickenpox. That's the vaccine. And then as an adult, the reactivation of that, whatever that is caused by, meaning if when you hear fever blister, so that whatever the process is going on, the infection is going on in the body is stressing the body. So now you have a reactivation. So either that virus is either going to come out as that fever blister when you get a fever, or as you get older, you very well may end up with the shingles all on the nerve path. It's a virus. You can manage the symptoms. You can suppress it. The new vaccine that they're coming up with, I believe that is a suppression vaccine. Now, it suppresses it so low that it may not be, they're trying to make it non-transmittable like they're doing with the HIV, but, the funding is scarce. So, and, at the end of the day, they feel like, oh, it ain't killing nobody. It ain't killing nobody, or not that many people are that affected, so it's okay. We can take our time because it's been what? It's been what? Decades. Decades, been around for decades. You actually have uh, natural viruses that are in your body. It's called the virus virome, virome. We naturally have viruses in our body. Why are you just so uh, uh, um, intent on choosing this one virus just because it happens to land on the pubic area? Don't let nobody talk bad to you. Don't let nobody talk bad to you. Don't let nobody make you feel like you were less than. Don't let nobody keep you trapped in a relationship because they're saying, oh, you gave me this virus and now I can't be with nobody. That's manipulation. Do not allow anybody to tell you that, because what you can do is educate and be like, no, we still have choices. I have a choice here. And the fact that you trying to manipulate me and make me feel bad, and don't they call that gaslighting? You know what I'm saying? I don't really be, listening to the words of what they call stuff, because the stuff was before the words came around. I just called it that bullshit. That's what I called it. So, I know that I don't be knowing the technical words, gaslighting bullshit, manipulation, that's that bullshit. So, y'all have to forgive me if I'm not always technically correct. Okay, when I be calling out the bullshit. Okay, those are red flags. That's what that is. And I don't want you to do it no more. You can live a normal life. A third of people that have the virus don't know they have it because they don't have no outbreaks. They don't have any symptoms whatsoever. Chlamydia, top of the list, don't have no symptoms. They might have a little extra discharge. Ain't nobody got no symptoms. Didn't even know it. Just get tested. If you out here boinking folk, get tested. Get tested every 6 months at the very least. If you are active in your life and if you got multiple partners, baby, because the only 100 accurate way to keep from getting a sexually transmitted disease is what? Abstinence. Abstinence. That's it. Because a person can have an outbreak on the inside of their cheek. And if they are rocking the oral on you, it can be transmitted. And you have not had any type of sexual intercourse. Somebody just gave you some head and now you got it. So all I'm saying is that it's very contagious. It can be spread very easily. So we have to be responsible for our own bodies because people are not responsible for theirs. We can't just be letting Tom, Dick, and John and Harry run up in there and thinking everybody okay because he fine, because he got money. We ain't talking about that. You know, I get so tickled because when I be on here and I be looking at, the little stuff that they be talking about a whole bunch of stuff and don't be talking about nothing all at the same time. Half of it to be loud and wrong. I'm here to give you something that's going to change your life. I'm here to give you something that can change the life of a homegirl that's been feeling guilty and feeling bad for having this for 20 years and never told nobody, but that is the horror she's living in. That's whom I'm talking to. I'm talking to folk that aren't prepared to hear all the technical phrases that people want to use to try to describe the virus, although herpes is herpes is herpes. Just different strains, different kinds. But herpes is herpes is herpes. I'm trying to remove the stigma. I'm talking to the people that didn't know that a cold sore and a fever blister is the same thing, and that both of those were HSV viruses. I'm here for you. I'm here to communicate in a way, and I hope that you can understand and that you can relay it to somebody else. I'm not trying to give you
Oh,
big
come on,
words
y'all. Y'all hear?
so
She's
that
it's facts. It's
you
facts.
can do
Tap that
that.
screen.
You know what I'm
Tap that
saying? You got to
screen.
live your life for you. You got to take care of it. We only got one. We only got one. So I want you to change your mindset. I want you to actively manage your thinking. And how you do that is, say herpes. Herpes, 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 herpes. Herpes. It's nothing. It's part of 8, commonly known. Chickenpox, mono, shingles. Because I've come in contact with one of those, I probably got it. But I am still the same queen I was before I knew I had it. You are still the same beautiful individual you were before you caught it. And you still gonna be that queen. Don't let a battle in your mind keep you from living your life. Don't let no other individual try to tell you your worth just because you got a virus that everybody else probably got too. And as long as they out here hunching and going on, they might get it. I get so tickled. Yeah, I ain't never had chickenpox. Did you get the virus to keep you from getting it? Because either way, either way, either way, most children have it. Most children have it. But we out here thinking that we are, people better than somebody else because they have one condition versus the other. Y'all better get out of here. That ain't how I'm doing it. It's straight talk. And I understand that, we out here, we should be responsible. Everybody should go get tested and get treated. But there's no guarantee that people are going to do that. So the accountability got to start right here. We have to take responsibility for our own bodies and we need to present it accordingly. Yes, ma'am. We got a question.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We got a fabulous question. It says, "Can you have it and still not spread it?"
So you can have it It can be latent or dormant, meaning you have no symptoms, like it's not actually replicating and it's not contagious. It becomes contagious when the cells of the nerves start to break and the virus comes out and it travels back down the nerve path to the point of entry and starts replicating, and that's when it creates the sore. So, can you have it and not spread it? Absolutely. You could have it and not spread it because it can be in that latent phase. The tricky part is they've found that there is viral shedding. Viral shedding is what makes it contagious. That's when the virus is contagious. And viral shedding doesn't always show symptoms. So, what the literature says now is that you can absolutely have no symptoms at all and be contagious. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that crazy? So you mean to tell me I don't even know when I'm sharing it. I don't even know. I have no idea. No, you don't. That's why we have to have the conversation. That's why we have to have the sexual health conversation. Because if you are going to be intimate with somebody and you have no idea at what point that you might be contagious, it is not fair not to tell anybody else. Now, you'd be surprised at how many people don't care because they understand. Or they already have it too. It is what it is. But it's just a little virus. It's one of 380 million that we got in our body. 380 trillion. We got so many viruses. It's one of many. There are medications that you can take daily that, once again, it suppresses it so that when it gets so low that it barely, the transmission rate is very, very small, like 0.22. It was tiny. So you can have it. You can take suppression meds and not spread it. So I hope that answer your question. I know I give, I explain a lot because I want you to understand the depth in what I'm talking about. Like I want you to understand the big picture because that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a big picture. I'm talking about if that's how we're going to end this thing, I need the big picture. Thank y'all so much for staying with me. I know I can get, I don't want y'all to be bored. I want y'all to just ask me some questions, interact with me. Y'all just sitting here and put it down and cook it and listening. That's what I actually need you to do for my videos. Because I know they be long, but I'm trying to tell you something. I'm trying to teach you something. I want you to take away things in the conversation that I have that you can use on a day to day, because maybe this stigma is not what you have to deal with. Maybe it's this crazy coworker that don't know how to manage her own behavior, and you got to develop the safe space for yourself. You know what I'm saying? The education is she off her meds, and I can't manage her behavior, so I got to manage mine. So I'm gonna be accountable for my behavior. So to keep from pushing her out her chair, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this safe space over here. You know what I'm saying? It's all the same thing. I'm gonna keep my mental peace by not allowing this stigma to affect me because the stigma is stupid. The stigma is a lie. Yes.
Can you give it to a family member just by sitting on the same toilet?
So that's a lie. You cannot contract it from things, right? I promise to stop judging and just focus. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Please, we got to, because it's a condition. It's a virus. COVID is a virus. Everybody that has had COVID has that virus in their body.
They want to know how long have you had it?
I've had it for some years, but that's the other thing I want to teach you is that those questions are irrelevant. It doesn't matter how long that I had it. It doesn't matter how I got it. It don't matter who I got it from, because at the end of the day, I have no idea. I didn't know I had it until I had my labs drawn. Nobody, I was married for 21 years. I knew he had a fever blister, but I ain't never think nothing about it.
The
So I
question was
have no,
asked because you said something about shedding.
I don't, what you mean?
I guess you had made a comment about shedding,
Uh-huh.
stuff. Shedding. So that's why they asked how long you had it. I guess they want more details about the
No, that's
shedding.
two different people. So
Oh,
one said how long you had it, and
never
that's
mind. I'm
irrelevant.
saying, yeah.
And then the other question is, I asked because you said something about shedding. Miss Margaret, what first question? Let me see.
It was about the family member sitting on the toilet. My
Oh,
bad. Sorry, Miss Margaret. I
okay.
confused you.
All
My
right. So let
apologies.
me let me clarify. So viral shedding, yes. So, but not from uh stuff. You can't get it from stuff. You can get it from stuff, but it's the moist. Okay, so forks and spoons, because it has saliva on it. Now, if y'all in there licking the toilet stool, this is a whole different conversation. That's a different conversation, Miss Margaret. Miss Margaret, if y'all in there licking stools, it's a different conversation. As long as ain't nobody in there, if you have some type of mucousy cut on your butt and somebody else come in and have an open lesion on their butt, then maybe you can. Rare, rare, rare. It don't have that. Most of the time, it'll be more like you eating, right, and you want to feed your baby. You chewing up the food to try to break it down and give it to the baby. Does that sound familiar? That's how we can pass it. Or you want to feed your new boo. You gonna eat it, and but you want to feed it off your fork. You still got some spit on there. That's how you get it. So you can get it off of stuff, but the stuff has to have saliva. Most of the time, it's skin to skin contact, and the skin to skin contact typically is from open lesions. But as I said, science, science, science says that we could shed it. I could shed it and not show any symptoms and be contagious. So it's a guessing game. So the thing about that is, first you need to know your status. Do you have it or not? If you don't have it, you don't have to worry about it. Make sure you don't eat after nobody. Make sure you know y'all ain't on new folk. You can keep from getting it. If you don't have it at all, you can keep from getting it. You can keep from getting it. But it's almost abstinence. You got to test your partner, and you got to make sure that you don't share no type of utensils. None of that. Don't be putting in nobody's dentures. Don't do none of that. Can you get it from passing ill? A what? Oh, a
Passing that
doobie?
bean. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
oh, okay. So if you got somebody that's got a real wet mouth, and them folk got HSV 1 or 2 in the mouth, and here you go, and yes, ma'am. So make sure that tip is nice and dry before you don't be puffing after nobody juicy. I wouldn't do that. I'd have to pull out my own pre-roll. Okay. What else? What else? I love the questions. The questions are it. I can explain a question, baby. Um, but what I was saying is these STIs are affecting our babies. They're affecting our babies because we don't know we have it, and we're giving birth and passing it congenital herpes, congenital syphilis. Like these children are entering the earth with a virus already. But people want to stigmatize that one virus. So this is a big picture issue. We first have to get tested so that we can know what we got going on in our own body so we can start being accountable for that. That's the first thing we got to do. The second thing we got to do is make sure that we are educated and aware so that if one day we encounter somebody that has it, that is going through it, that has experienced, and they have had the trust in you to confide it, you are going to support them, you are going to encourage them, you are going to educate them, and you're going to tell them, baby, there is nothing to be ashamed of, and don't let nobody shame you. The moment somebody shame you, that tell you what that means about their character. Because I'm going to tell you over here, did nobody love me no less. And your real peeps ain't going to love you no less. And see, I'm a weird one because, I try not to care about what people think. And at 52, I done got good at it. You see, I got her on here to block and delete. I don't even go back and forth with folks because it's not good for my mental health. And I recommend y'all don't go back and forth with nobody either, especially when folk is ignorant and want to argue. Oh, you want to argue? You want to argue with me? Not when I know what I'm talking about. Why I'm going back and forth with somebody when I know what I'm talking about? Oh, I'll let you have that. Go ahead, baby. You got it. Yup. That's what you do with ignorance. But other than that, you support that sister. You educate that sister. You tell her, okay, now we dealing with this now. You know what I'm saying? I want you out the other side because we got to start living again. There ain't nothing but a bump in the road, like everything else that occurs in life. And we can do that. We can fix this. This can be the beginning of the end of that stigma. I can't do it by myself though. So that's why I'm enlisting my queens. That's what I'm here to do. And for those that are really struggling, those that, I mean, when I was first diagnosed, because I was ignorant about it, right? Although I'm a nurse, I've been a nurse for 30 years, there are some conditions that we don't know that much about because we don't encounter it. It's impossible to know everything in the medical field. There's just too much going on. So I was not well versed or well educated in what it was. And before I could even look into it, I already felt broken. I was depressed. I was crying. I didn't feel worthy. I said that I was going to be lonely for the rest of my life. There wasn't nobody going to love me. I did it all. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. I did all that. I don't ever want nobody else to experience that because at the end of the day, once I did Maria, it's a lie. It's a lie from the pit of hell. And it's my whole goal. My whole goal is to throw that right in the back in the pit where it belongs. Because we don't have to do that anymore. I don't ever want anybody to feel that hurt, but I know that people do. And I think that that's why I'm on this journey, because it don't have to be like that. I have literally created a 5-step program to help sisters overcome this horrible stigma of the disease. It's 5 weeks long. We meet either in a group or individually. And I just start building you up from the bottom. I start reminding you of your greatness. I start giving you tools on how to maintain your peace. I start giving you information about how to do your self-care. By the time you end the class, baby, we are talking about galvanizing queens. We're talking about giving people around us, lifting and encouraging them up and building up community, just as you've done for yourself, because many can't. Many can't. So my whole goal, for real, if I'm being for real with you, is I want to change the world. I know that sounds crazy, but I really want to. And I really think I can. I really do. One person at a time. If I can help one person at a time, that'll start my ball rolling. So if y'all know anybody that's struggling, that feels worthless, that don't go outside because of this. I had 5 friends around me. I didn't even know they had it until I was like, oh God, I got it. They was like, you all right? I was like, what you got it too? You know they say what the girls say, 1 and 3, 4 and 5. 4 and 5 people have herpes. That's how common it is. But we still allowing that stigma to dictate how we move in our life. Don't let that dim your light. I need you to let your light shine always. Always. This, society wants you to be dim. You know what I'm saying? I refuse. And I'm not gonna let nobody else that know me do that. We're not gonna do it. We can be goofy, because I'm goofy as hell. I do admit that. I love to laugh. That's what I do. But we gonna build each other up. All right, I just wanted to come on and tell y'all. I ain't gonna be talking to y'all all night. All right, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. What you say, Javon? Miss Margaret, did she need some extra love?
Yes, we need to give Miss Margaret some extra love. She's going through it right now, the same way you did at the beginning of your journey. So I just told her, don't give up hope. Keep pushing forward. I also told her to reach out to you personally if she had any other questions or concerns, and you will respond. We love you.
Absolutely.
This is out here for you to help share yourself and help you bring you up. Like she said, we bringing each other up one person at a time, y'all. One person at a time. Before we end this live, let's get these likes up. Come on, tap that button, show that love. You know what I'm saying? Can we get to 35 real quick? Can we get to
Ooh,
35 real
I
quick?
never had that video. Y'all gonna give me some
Come
likes?
on. Let's
Shoot.
get them likes real quick. Let's get them likes real quick. And Miss Margaret, we all love you. You know what I'm saying? And just keep your head up, keep pushing. Reach out to
Yes, Miss
Straight Talk with
Margaret.
Sissy.
I want you to go ahead and schedule. I have a free consultation. It's called your Straight Talk Strategy Session. Give me a call. Let's just talk about it. Let's talk about it. You ain't got to go through that by yourself, sis. That is exactly why I'm here. You don't have to do that. Just go ahead, schedule a free. It's free. It's free to talk to me on the phone. Who don't want to do that? Y'all don't do that, Miss Margaret. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for showing up tonight. And I'm gonna get back with you. Our next subject. I think that the Lord just. I think this was it. So my next subject, my plan is gonna be. We're gonna get started on syphilis, and we're gonna get started by talking about the experiments that they did on us, but with syphilis. I know y'all know. Do your homework. Do your homework. Tuskegee experiment. They experimented on us with syphilis, and I'm gonna talk all about it. All right. Okay. Love y'all. See y'all later. If you have any questions, please just DM me. I talk to everybody. Go ahead. Just DM me. Okay. Love y'all.
Real
Bye.
questions, real questions. Don't ask her
All
to
right.
hit you up on the line. You want to talk to her, feel on the booty and nothing. Real questions and concerns, okay? Yes. I'm the
Those are
moderator,
instant
I'm the
blocks.
AKA bodyguard. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Block.
Instant blocks. All right. Have a good week. Bye.